All right, it's unboxing for this toy here. This is a Mech Fans toy. Sorry, Camera Brothers. I guess the toy number would be MF. I believe it's MF-36. It's MT-36. I think it's MF-36. Anyways, this is a third-party brand. And this is far from new. This has been out for several years actually, but I've only gone around to buying it like very recently. Just off AliExpress. I'm sure you can find it off of eBay or something too, and maybe some other places that sell these third-party like Transformer style toys. And yeah, I've always really wanted to get the original Reflector from the G1 cartoon. The toys, I think this is only as a mail-in offer at the time, and this is one of the original colorways. They had actually I think they were all kind of all robots when they transformed. They look, at least one of them looked different. The other two might be the same, but they had 3 different colors, like a red, blue, and green perhaps. They weren't all uniform color as they were in the cartoon actually. And yeah, so but I never got that. There have been a number of re-releases of that G1 toy. I also never got it. I did used to have a little model kit that was made from snapped together, that was made from that was part of a I think they're Japanese or they Chinese, but these packages. Basically, there's one sealed piece of gum. I guess you can chew it while you're building it, and then you open it up and they have a model kit, and you trim them off or you snap them off, and no glue required. And I remember that's the closest thing I had to them, is that there's like this model kit that you built, and it could be basically Reflector. It was the best I had. It wasn't really that great, but it was okay for considering how inexpensive that was. But it was really small, because it's kind of like these guys. I'm trying to remember, maybe slightly bigger. And I just did a little unboxing of this and with my kids, and yeah. Anyways, Hasbro has released like the most recent version is pretty nice, but I remember it was quite expensive because each one of these guys were sold individually, and they all had the same parts, but I think combined, you just transform a certain way, they can become together as a camera, and all the parts can make everything else for the camera. But you basically have to buy them separate. Well, I forget, maybe they did sell them eventually as a trio. I know recently, if not out yet, soon to be, they re-released those basically Reflector, along with Thundercracker. I forget what kind of set it is. But it's the old Thundercracker, the old I guess War for Cybertron or Siege version of him before the latest studio series. It's like $100-something set, and that's the other thing too. Like before, these were like at least 30-something, almost roughly each. So you get all of them, you'd spend pretty close to $80-90 or something like that. That seemed a bit much. And I didn't quite like the way they did the look of it. It's not as accurate as I think this set. And you can see them here. Looks pretty good. So they have, depending on which one you're pointing at, excuse me, they all combine to become the camera, which is called Reflector. But each one of them, I believe, were named Viewfinder, Spyglass, and Spectro, something like that. What's cool about these is that what they did with the guns, at least from what I understand, is they resemble like their G1 toys, which each one of them actually has slightly different gun designs. That's from like the old one from the days past. Basically, they talk about what the inspiration or what they got the design mainly inspired from. They say AE1, which is a Canon vintage film camera, and you can see it. They just took out the branding and they recolored it, added more green in there and make this purple and so forth. And then eventually that became something like this. Though the actual camera form for these things is rather on the wide side. I mean, I've never known, rather flat and wide. Most cameras aren't quite like that, but it's close enough for transformative purposes. And you can see, excuse interruptions. Sometimes I get interrupted mid review. Anyways, so this is how he looks like. This is how he looks like in robot form. Of course, he looks actually more proportional to an actual camera. Isn't quite as wide, but that's how his transformers are. They can distort their mass a bit. So so that just tells you a story about that inspiration and what it's led to this. This just tells you the flash mode, and then there's the other hidden weapons. It's got looks like a rocket launcher or missile launcher or something in there. And you can get two forms of modes, how you want to display it. You can mix the combination. You can put two flashes on. I think it'll fit on this side as well. It just basically fits on what will be pretty much like one of the heads of the figures. It'll be facing back, but it's unfortunate that it's not covered, like it's somehow hidden more from all angles. So, but at least from the main angle, which you will probably mostly look at it from this side anyways, you don't really see it. But I think these things basically attach onto there, or at least it does here. It probably does here. Is this all the way back here? This flash is a bit more forward than this one, since it's more stacked. And then you can choose to put it on a tripod or not. And this just says this is a 70 to 200 zoom lens, and which is quite a bit longer than what's here. But either way, I think overall, I think it looks pretty cool. So let's go into it, check it out. It came a little bit dinged up, even though it was actually pretty well wrapped in like a foam, not foam, like a bubble packaging. And here we go. Instruction manual, a little extra accessory. I guess, oh look, I think we'll see this. There's different ways you can display these characters, as well as all the weapons. I don't know if I can get into all this. There's quite a bit to go through. Let's see. We'll just have a look at it. Because honestly, again, this thing has been out for some time. Oh my god. Hopefully we don't lose any other weapons. 1, 2. Oh, we'll take a look at that. 3, 4. The zoom lens. I gotta admit, these have some pretty decent, feel like they have some pretty decent weight to them. Another flash. It's funny that this flash I have like a fin sticking up. Sure why that would be necessary. And here's the hidden missiles. Let's paint it in like a kind of a metallic red. And the camera itself. There you go. It's a pretty decent size. You can see how it is to my hand. Not 1-to-1. And that's what I meant. You can see like the face is back here, but this would be kind of like, oh, you're pushing like you're pushing a shutter release, right? And there you go. I'll have to go over this. I'm sure, let's see, this can become the tripod, and it also will become the barrel of like kind of like a Gatling gun. Let's just go over the instructions real quick, maybe. And I'm wondering if Yeah, you can probably replace this. They give you two options here, which is cool because yeah, because when you look at this, like in the picture here, this which would be considered the pentaprism, and also with the viewfinder would be in the back. It's purple, but it's silver on there, and I think basically you can replace these shoulder things here, and I believe these are also optional as well. This is more reminiscent of the G1 toy, which Reflector, the main one that has this shutter, or I think you call it the shutter, right? With a little bit of iris in here. He has like the shoulder patch, which the other ones don't. Like it's just the way it used to transform and opened up, and they definitely have different faces before. They don't look as humanoid, I guess. Especially I remember viewfinder, I guess that's what you would call him. He had like more of a almost like a mask on. But anyways, so you can probably switch. You can choose to take these off because in the cartoon, just like basically inside, as you see here, they don't really have. He doesn't really. If you look at the G1 cartoon, they don't. He doesn't have like this big bulky thing. They all pretty much look identical, except for I guess Viewfinder has this. Although I want to say I could have sworn, actually all of them look like they had that in the show. But anyways, so I'm glad they give you that option to configure this in different ways. And so this should just pop right on here. And I don't think there's a top or bottom to this as far as I can tell. So we'll just stick it on here, but it'll look something like that. And this is a nice effect though, this green metallic, but it's got a kind of depth to it, so it makes it looks like there's actually like, this like maybe this is some sort of AR, anti-reflective coating. Sometimes it does give off a sort of hue or color to it, depending on the coating. And this looks like this has a bit of depth to it, so it looks like it's not completely like flat green, or it doesn't look like it's a solid piece of plastic. It looks like there's actually kind of like an actual lens or something going on. And then these would basically attach onto like his head right here. This is one form, and I can tell this opens up and transforms into something else. And then conversely, you can use this one, or you can use both at the same time for some reason. Super flash. This, to me, this doesn't look as realistic. This looks more like a legitimate setup, except for this fin here. I wish there's a way that you could collapse this or something, but it is what it is. But you do have options, and it's kind of cool is to give you a little one, so you can put them in the hands of another Decepticon or something, so it can be used in as a camera form by other Decepticons, or maybe an Autobot, who knows. But it's a nice addition. And we'll show you that the guns, if you're familiar with the old G1 toys, they basically kind of look like this, more or less in the style. So it's kind of cool that they all have their individual ones here that's reminiscent of the old G1 toys. So it's kind of a combination of things. So this thing is pretty front heavy. So as you put it down, it rests on its lens, which probably in real life, if you had a 70-200 lens on a camera, that's a lot of weight compared to the rest of the camera. It'll probably dip forward as well. I'll just take it off for now. And this should just, I'm pretty sure it just splits open. There we go. And then you can use this to put the camera on, which you definitely want to make sure that the long side, let's see, is facing forward. And this just simply goes in here like that. And then if you put this on, it should hold. So, yeah, see? Just like that. straighten it out. But of course, like a real tripod where the weight's of probably a longer lens, it's going to be in front. You want to make sure that leg is forward to help support it. Otherwise, something like this won't be as beneficial. It's much easier to tip over. But yeah, pretty cool. You could do that. And then it seems to snap together pretty good. And actually, this is a relatively small instruction manual. All right, interrupted once again. So let's take a look at the instructions here. Very simple. Let's see. Oh, there is a piece. There should be something right here. What is that? Not part of the lens. Oh, that's right. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this should come off. Hope I don't break it. I'm pretty sure this comes off. Yeah, there we go. And I suppose you can cover, that's what you could do. You could use this to cover it. And then then you wouldn't be able to really use this anymore because this piece that looks like this is gone. So you just have to do this, which is not the worst thing, I suppose. Because this can look a little oversized with the camera as well. And but this could be, I guess it's more like a shutter button, or you can consider this to be like maybe one of those dials to control like the shutter speed. So we'll just take a look at this. You can take these off. I'll just do a quick transformation if I can. And number 2, see, this folds down, and then this comes off. Oh, that's right, there's a base here in which you can, forgot how easily they separate after that. So let's see, something like there. Then inside there's actually more hidden weapons. There's like a knife, some other probably gun and barrel pieces, so you can form like this large sniper rifle. That comes off. I'll just try to have a quicker look at this, if possible. I might need, sometimes these toys have intricate parts that need. Okay, I was like, wait, this better not be broken. No, it's just separate pieces. Yeah, it comes out like that. And then the knife is a knife. And you can form something like, let's see here. What is is part of it? Interesting. Where is? They don't really explain where this piece is. 1, 2, 3. You can also use this as a shield as well, by the way. I gotta remember to clean this spot. Let's see. No. I'm just trying to figure out where the heck is the handle for this part. Here off to the side. This thing. Here's the barrel, here's this part. And I'm not sure where this goes. Maybe it's hidden potentially inside here. right here. I think something gets, there we go, lift this up. More hidden knives. I guess one for everyone. Pull this out, another one, so you get 3. And let's see, this folds out this way, I think. Here are the other pieces inside here. So you open it up. I don't know how to put this back. And the more weapons here. I think, are these all the same? Appear to be. I feel like one of them is longer than the other. Nope, there's just 3 of them. And they all just kind of fit inside here. I'll have to have a closer look at that. So then, yeah, you can use one of these to form that sniper rifle right here. And I guess the scope goes on top like so, something like that. Cool. I mean, this guy is pretty accessorized out. And I think I've seen it where this has been used as like kind of like a backpack. Kind of like you can use as like, pretend these are like thrust, you know, something to levitate or, you know, have a thrust or something so you can fly. So this should just come right off like that, very simple. And again, you can just choose to put this on instead. I guess this would be because the viewfinder, this should be painted black really, so that it looks like you're looking through the viewfinder. Although it's quite a ways from your face or eye, that would be back here. It should be right up to it closer, but it's the limitations of these things. But yeah, this would go in more or less like that if you wanted to have the purple version. Not sure which one I would go with. In camera mode, I mean, it kind of looks better with the silver, actually, because I'm used to seeing the Penta Present in silver. So then we separate these guys like so. And then most of these 2 should transform the same. So if we look at this, the legs should be pretty simple, swings out. And arm, oops. And then let's see, the show here goes up like this, up and up. And I guess the arm should go down at that point. And to show that this flips down somewhere, I guess. I don't think it can go all the way. Oh, it does. Okay. Like that. And here's that. You can separate the legs. They don't, oh, they do. Cool. They do bend at the heels here like that. So you can get them in pretty good posability. And this guy should be essentially the exact same. You just pull the arms up and out. Oh, don't forget to snap lock, which I did not do on this guy. There we go. There we go. This thing has a ton of accessories, which is pretty cool. Although, to be honest, depending how you plan to display it, it may be a bit of a mix of stuff that you just have to find someplace to store, unless the display area has enough room to accommodate these things off to the side. And here is what I call a viewfinder. So they all basically transform the same. The legs go back here, split, and that's about it. And then swing the arms out and up and lock, back down, up and lock, back down. So, and I guess this guy, you can, if you leave this here, I can see that, let's see, you could attach, what do they show here? some way of attaching this onto here. Or is it like... Okay, yeah. So it's actually shown like this. And then I think you can... Okay, let's see. Push that in. These are on ball joints, aren't they? So yeah, you can kind of do this, like I was saying, that you can make it look like he's flying or something. But I'm not going to use it as such. We'll probably mostly display them as in this form. Either all together as robots with the individual guns, or should I just keep them as a camera mode? It's the most compact and everything's out of the way. In that sense, you can take, let's see, these pieces can, you can attach these to the shoulders. I'm trying to think, is there a specific method to this? I think like they show this one on this shoulder here. I think it just somehow snaps in here. I'm not sure there's a really specific way to do this or not. I have it kind of high like that, and then you can do the same on the side. Though, honestly, I think it should be, since this is a viewfinder at the back, I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, it should be the other way around. But I wouldn't do it anyways, because that's not the look that I'm going for. And then this should be able to split up. Oh, there you go. This can take out, and you can, according to like this picture down here, you can mount it as a shoulder piece as well somehow. Get a clip into the arms in some way. Hang on. Okay, found the piece. Though I am confused to where it came out from. Crap. Okay, I think I see it. Actually, I think it's attached to this piece here. It's supposed to stay on here, if I'm not mistaken. According to this, there's a picture down here. Let me see. Well, these things slide out, and they can become all sorts of things here. But yeah, let me see if I can reattach this. Just like, there isn't anything that holds this in very tightly, I have to say. It is in position. And I don't know, there's different things you can do to build this up. Sorry, not a particularly good review. And I guess you're just supposed to slide this in carefully like that. And I'm just going to reassemble this because I don't really want to separate it. And then just close this in like that. There we go. And that's the way it holds fine. But, boy, there sure are a lot of things you can do with this. But there we go. This is Reflector, and I don't know, you can choose either one of these. I would guess this should be viewfinder at the center, and Spectre or Spectral, and what's the other one? I'm drawing the blank. But he is, you know, they can be either one. Basically they're almost like triplets, twins, all identical. And yeah, I think this is a pretty cool set. I'll get them at least closer into frame. And not bad. I think it was about $40 something. And I think, you know, overall the quality, everything's pretty good. I need to get a bunch of, for these third-party things, I should get like probably from Toy Hacks. Yeah, just get some sticker sheets of a mix of them for Decepticons and Autobots. Because I believe, I gotta look at the reference material, but they should be right on the chest. Or maybe on the arm, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be on the chest. Because if I'm going off of this, you can see right there's a tiny Decepticon logo right above the opening there. So let's imagine this to be the same across all three. That's it. It's getting long enough. Sorry, it's a mess. Again, people have made videos of this a lot better a long time ago. I just do these things just to share something new that I got, that I've been wanting to get, and I'm glad it's finally here. It'll probably get mixed in with in a way they kind of work with the Insecticons. It definitely could be with Soundwave, because they're both kind of like sort of like spies or reconnaissance type of characters in the Decepticon army or gang, whatever you want to call them. And yeah, I think not bad. Very posable. Heads, arms, everything. The fists are fixed, but you know, that's fine. All you need to do is just hold a weapon, and that'll do the job. I'll see how I display these. The simplest thing would be actually these three with their separate guns, and put these away. Then this would sort of save some space, but I feel like this deserves to be in camera mode, and when I get down to it, I can separate it. Well, anyhow, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.